Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 2039 AGML mock draft. Um, I am here today with my good friends Alex
Hello.
and James.
Hello.
I believe this is the first time James is joining us for a podcast, so give
It
him a warm
is.
welcome.
What's up?
Um, it's
What team are you, James?
I am the Las Vegas Raiders.
oh yeah, I totally skimmed that over.
Yeah.
We will be picking third in the draft, so we'll get to be pretty fast.
Cool.
Alright.
But yeah, here to this 2039 mock draft. I say this about every draft class, but every draft class is, I think, pretty interesting. This one is extremely interesting because I feel like there's a lot of parity in the talent, and also there's no top level consensus pick with no talented quarterbacks in this class. Um, so we'll see where people will fall. We'll see how the mock drafts line up. See if we have consensus or all over the place.
Well, I think this draft is interesting because it's just so defensive heavy. And as I pointed out earlier when we were talking, kind of our pregame warm up, I said that on offense, there's a clear hierarchy. There's the QB, then receiver, then probably like offensive line, then halfback, and maybe tight end.
Mm-hmm.
But on defense, I mean, you could attack any level depending on what you feel like makes the most difference. Is a defensive end the key to fixing your defense? Is it a cornerback? Is it that new middle linebacker? I mean, there's so many ways that you can attack defense that when there's so many talented players that all look the same in terms of what they could be, I mean, It really just goes to what the user thinks that they can get out of that player.
For sure. Anyways, I guess there's nowhere to stop. We can ramble on forever about how exciting this is, but we'll start off from the top. What a year to get the number one pick for the Packers.
Yeah.
Nope, wrong. You got to see some evil stuff. That's other projects. Anyways, here we go with the new AGML mock draft format. We are now into the future with better high quality draft coverage. And so here we have my first pick for the Packers, which will be left end Bobby Cheeks. I think Bobby Cheeks here in a pretty consensus number one. This guy is might be the best player. It's tough to say. I mean, biggest thing about him, God, he is a nasty power move. One of the best I've seen coming out of college. He is very quality. He has enough other attribute. Like, he's very good also at tackling. He's doesn't let people go. So he can help out in the run too. He's not like a Ngakwe where he's pass rush only. This guy can help both in the run game but certainly in the pass game as well. His combine's not like the most explosive we've seen out of the draft, but it's solid. It's just what you want, and I think getting that pass rush or that will be elite for the rest of this Madden is probably the best move here without a clear-cut quarterback to be taken.
Mm-hmm.
Next up.
James, what are you thinking here, James?
So I like Cheeks. Like, I don't get me wrong. I think he's a great player. I think he's probably one of the best players in this draft, if not the best. But when I look at Cheeks, the low combine, it's not a bad combine. It's a good combine, but it's not flashy. And that's where I kind of wind up going with Marcus Barker for the first overall pick, because I think Barker's combine ceiling his floor for his combine is so high that I think even if he's not what you want at an outside linebacker position, I think you could put him at middle, and he's got the speed and the athleticism to play coverage. And so I think with Barker, the floor for this pick is basically he'll play a linebacker spot no matter what. With Cheeks, what concerns me is if he doesn't just have that click instantly to really get some sacks and stuff. I don't know how good of a player he'll be, but I think with Barker, his floor is so high that he can play any position for you.
Mm-hmm. Barker is indeed a monster. Like, this guy is like, he has the combine, but also some of the like awarenesses and just things you want to see as a outside linebacker, but things that translate to middle or even edge. I think he's a Swiss Army knife, and he'll. I think number one is not a bad spot for him to go.
Not at all. However, I do agree with Tyler here with the Packers going Cheeks. We see, and like Tyler said, we know about his power move, how just game-changing that can be if you have just that amazing defensive edge rusher to pressure quarterbacks. Not much else really needs to be said that Tyler hasn't covered with Cheeks.
Yep. Cheek is fantastic, and honestly, any player going in the top 5 here, I think, will be grade A quality. So yeah, here is our. Okay, this is me figuring out how to run this smoothly. This is our first pick on the big board. Next up, we have the Dallas Cowboys, and Cowboys here have a lot they can go. They need a lot of help on offense, and I don't think here you're going to have those offensive talents available. So I think for most of this top 10, you're going to probably think about going defense based off of what's available. You want to get good value for your pick, since you don't want to. You tanked for this. You didn't get the best record. You want quality players. There's not that much quality or offense in the top 10. So I think Cowboys here have to look at defense, and at least for me, and what I think. So, I have them going. My favorite player in this draft, Steve McQueen, cornerback out of USC, and this dude's, I think, a monster. The only thing he doesn't do is have like the top end high end speed, but everything else this man does. He's very good at both corners. Some of the best of any corner at either coverage. Like, he's better than like the best zone coverage, and he's better than the best man coverage in this draft. So like or actually, that's not true. I lied. That's lied. There's a couple people slightly better at man, but he's not far behind. But like, he just has great anticipation. He knows when things are coming. He knows when to get his head around. He knows if it's a pass or a run. Very good. And he had combine to back it up and coverage skills to back it up. Steve McQueen, movie star. This dude was also like he was into like martial arts. I don't know if it was like Taekwondo or some shit, but this dude does it all. He's one of those like players you'll have like a documentary. Like, it's gonna, like, every time he's on like national TV for a primetime game, they're gonna be like, this guy played karate. This guy is named the same thing as a famous actor. He's gonna be one of those guys. Love him.
Yeah. He's like 60 years dead at this point in the future.
Yeah, nope. Yeah, he's at least 60 years dead. Long time God, reincarnated as a karate corner.
Oh my god.
James, who do you have going next?
So, since I already mocked out Barker, I am gonna say that I think Cheeks is a solid number 2 option here. Obviously, he's got the high ceiling as a player. The lower floor is the pure athletic side of him, but I end up having Cheeks go here. But I think that McQueen's pretty solid too. You might want to see him a little bit younger for a guy you're taking second overall. I think you want a 21-year-old no matter what. That's why Cheeks is my pick here.
I actually really like Cheeks. I mean, we already talked all about Cheeks and how much we like him. Yeah, fantastic pick. And
For
Alex?
Sure. Yeah, so I have them going with James's first overall pick in Barker. I think, however, he's not an outside linebacker. As much as I love his speed and able to bridge that gap on the sideline, I think he works best, especially with the Cowboys, as a middle linebacker.
Sure.
With that shuttle, that 40-yard dash time, able to just like envelop the middle in any way that he can, both as a run stopper and as a potential pass protector as well.
Yeah. Anyway,
But that's what I got for now. Yeah.
yeah, Barker. Honestly, yeah, definitely consensus top linebacker. I still have him on my board. Not because he doesn't deserve to go here, just because I think other positions get slightly more valued. Anyways, next up
Yeah.
we have
Barker.
Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
My comp for Barker is I think he's Roquan. I think he can do
Roquan?
everything,
Roquan, yep.
anything. You just put him in the middle of the line. I think in a 3-4 defense where he's the middle linebacker, the sub linebacker, I think he'd really ball out.
Yeah.
And so I think
I mean, yeah. I could see him later in his career transferring to safety, even.
That would be insane. Depends on how he gets developed, but we could see that. That would be very interesting. And I, as a commission, a badman, I would totally let that happen.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Why not?
Next up, we have the Raiders, the Autumn Wind. I wonder who owns the Raiders.
Well, I think his
No
name
one
is
owns
James.
them.
James?
We're
Yeah.
actually crowdfunded.
Yeah.
But no, the Raiders, again, they're another team. I think they're actually a lot better than their record shows. They have a lot of pieces to build off of here, but there's also a lot of holes to fill. I'm going to say that about every team. I think most teams in here are better than their record shows.
I mean, except for one team, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's
We'll
fair.
get to them.
Anyways, here I have them going corner. Like, they would totally love Steve McQueen. I know this from some inside knowledge about the Raiders organization. They really want Steve McQueen. It's not a surprise, I don't think, as we'll probably hear. But unfortunately, I love Steve McQueen so much I had him going number 2. So I think they're taking the number 2 corner on my board, which is Nathan Coates, Nathan Coates is much more, at least from what I've seen, not quite as well-rounded as McQueen. I've only been impressed by his man coverage. Haven't seen as much of his zone just from the scheme they played there at Tennessee, but overall, the thing that makes Coates so good is that top end speed. He ran, as you can see, 4.29, which is very good for covering some of the speedier receivers in the AFC West. And he also is very good at press. So I think with those all combined, I think Coates is a great corner. The only thing bad about Coates is 23. Some people don't like that scary number over 22. So we'll see if that scares anyone away.
My thing with Coates is he's just so insanely fast. And he's a small guy. He's 5'9", 198. By no means he's a small corner. But I think what's interesting about Coates is the vert's nice.
Yeah.
The 40's amazing. And that press is going to be so nasty that I think he's the perfect slot corner for the Raiders, just from the fact that the Raiders' biggest problem last season was their defense was so messed up that the slot receiver would just feast on.
Sure.
This year, if Coates is lined up in the slot and taking away that player, I think it lets the Raiders defense synergize a lot better. And if the Raiders defense is ending up 32nd or 31st in most categories, I think that team could easily win 8-9 games.
But since this is now your board, you have Steve McQueen on your board left. Are you going Steve McQueen?
Just because Steve McQueen has the better combine.
Sure.
I do think Coates is amazing. But I think that if McQueen is still there, which I don't think will happen, I think McQueen is got to be the pick just because he's younger. And he's
I love McQueen's agility. Like that 4.03 shuttle is really nice, especially for keeping up with receivers. And he's also
I do
really
think McQueen
strong.
plays outside though, while I think that Coates is your good slot press corner.
I agree. Anything?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm gonna agree with James with Steve McQueen. The one thing that really stuck out to me was his vertical as a 5'10" corner. Like, just the explosiveness that his legs give him, and we see that with his shuttle. We see that with his 3-cone, his broad jump. Just the legs that keep pressing on for his size.
Yeah, no, actually, because I mean, he's 5'10", so he's actually not that tall, but
Nope.
his vertical will get him there. So yeah, as we go into our a pick that we'll probably only hear about this team once. Probably won't hear him talked about very much this mock tonight. I think he only has 4 picks. We have Josh the Dolphins. And this, like, actually, we're gonna probably, like, I'm just gonna cover the team here now, because we're gonna end up talking about the Dolphins 4 times tonight. Gonna be boring after, like, hearing the same stuff repeated if we do our normal shtick. So, Dolphins are an interesting team. Like, they have a lot of pieces I like. I like their D-line a lot. For the most part. But honestly, their secondary and I think is kind of lacking, and they don't have a great receiver or third receiver to really, like, the top 2 are fine, but then it falls down a cliff. So I think Dolphins have a lot they can go with these picks. I think we've talked about this off stream. I think he traded back a lot to acquire all these picks. I think he's going to trade back more with all this flexibility he can go, because 4 first-round picks has anyone ever gotten this many? Maybe, I'm trying to think back to, like, Chris, maybe, when not Chris, Cody, back on the Cowboys when he traded Grant. Did he even have that many?
Oh yeah,
he had a
when
lot.
He just like threw away his team.
Yeah,
I would have to remember it. Cody would probably remember the best with that.
It was a lot. He'd probably be maybe he's watching the mock or cock draft.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think here we shit. I lost the there we go. I think here we finally have Marcus Barker go off the board. Marcus Barker.
Wow.
He's like, the problem is, it's like, I really like Barker. I'm not even trying to slight him at all. I just was like, hey, McQueen, I started to watch Cheeks, and Cheeks, I can see Cheeks going over Barker. McQueen, I like McQueen. McQueen's my favorite player on this draft. I like McQueen more than Barker. I don't like Coates more than Barker. I would pick Barker over Coates, but also I think James will pick the corner just because that's where he needed the most help. So anyway, Barker here, you guys have already talked about him. He's good.
Yeah.
So my pick here, I'm gonna sneak ahead here, because I think what happens with the next pick could be kind of the preemptive strike here that makes somebody jump to 5. So, at 2-4. So the Broncos, and we'll get to this in a second, but the Broncos just dumped a starting cornerback. Now,
I hear you have some history with the Broncos, by the way, James. I feel like...
there was almost a great magical trade that would have helped both our franchises to the promised land, but instead we both carry each other in the grave. But no, I think the cornerback Coates, if he falls to 5 to the Broncos, I think he's a great pickup here for the Broncos. But because of that hole now for the Broncos, if they're taking the fastest cornerback in the game, I think there's a chance that somebody could come up and go for the receiver.
Sure.
Because let's go ahead and talk about him, because he is the biggest enigma in this draft, and that is Garrett Roberson, the wide receiver out of Michigan. This man ran a 4.25, and so we're looking at potentially a 98, 97, 99 speed receiver here.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem with Robertson is going to be the fact that, or Robertson, however you want to say, however it's he pronounced it. The biggest problem with him here is, to me, he is basically what you wanted to get out of the Vikings receiver draft in the 2010s.
Percy? Wait.
Percy Harvin. He's Percy
Yeah.
Harvin. He is the guy that you just want the ball in his hands no matter what and let him do stuff. And so I think if a team knows how to use that kind of receiver, I think that's where somebody would trade up and get this guy, because that 4.25 is going to be impossible to find probably for the rest of this franchise.
But we're assuming that like, just for the sake of the mock draft, because actually, like, the mock will actually be pretty outdated because of the trade that just happened.
We do have Coates going here. If somebody,
yeah.
But assuming the Dolphins bail, the guy that I think somebody would go up for would be Robertson, because you can't get this speed anywhere else.
I totally agree. But yeah, for the record, this mock draft is based off of like a few hours ago. So that trade, the Falcons-Broncos trade, isn't in the mock draft, realm.
Hey, it might get denied.
Yeah.
Might get denied.
Just because we spent way too much time making this.
Yeah.
So, how about you, Alex? Who do you have going?
For me, I have Murphy.
Murphy.
Like I'm the first one to get the second. Juan Murphy. And the reason for it for me is they are 3-4. The Dolphins are a 3-4 defense. And just like how we had Cheeks go up in that 1-1, that amazing move that he has finesse, right? And so that ability to play off the edge as a 3-4 blitzing linebacker, someone that can just cause so much disruption for him, is worth it to me.
Yeah, no, Juan's interesting. Like, I like him. He's mostly edge. I don't think he can be very flexible, but
no, I don't think that's what you need from Murphy.
His speed is monstrous.
Yeah.
Like, we've had a lot of fast guys going top 5, but I really like Murphy's speed. He has some good tools, I think, to use it. Anyways, that's the first Dolphins pick. Next up, we have Utch's only pick in this universe, this 1 hour before the trade or whatever made. But here, Broncos, another interest. I hate to say, like, over and over, like, most teams have a lot of promise. I like the state of most teams. Broncos don't have the most holes, and I think here, it's gonna be, it's a pretty consensus hole, I think. It's probably an edge rusher, at least, because you have a weary. I guess you don't need edge here, but you have an old D line, and they're you're gonna want to replace them. So I think here you take Nigel Fisher. I think we all agreed with this, which is an interesting pick because it's like not for here. It's like not a need, but it gives you so much flex. And I think this would be a lot different with the trade. I think with the trade, you are like, hey, I get one of these top corners who are electric. But in this universe, we're not doing that. Nigel Fisher is beautiful because I like Nigel Fisher as a speed rusher, finesse rusher more than Murphy, just a little more because I like his speed's about the same, but I like Fisher's shuttle just a bit more. But it's probably a bit more based off scheme at this point. Like if you're if you're 3-4, you go Murphy. If you're 4-3, you go Fisher. But I like Fisher a lot, and I think it really revamps that aging D-line in Denver. And you get a pick or something for one of those guys. And I think Fisher is a monster. Dude, his combine's too good to not, and that moves.
James, what about you? What do you got?
So I think what we can all agree on here is the top 3 players, and I think they're the elite tier, and they're all at different positions, is the defensive end Cheeks, the linebacker Barker, and the cornerback McQueen. I think those three are by far above everybody else. And then after that, you have a second tier. And that's where you have Coates, Fisher, and then if you want to say Robertson or Streets or Gore, those guys kind of come into play. And it's just who you like more. And so I had Coates going before Fisher, but I think that Fisher's the second best pass rusher in this draft, and I don't think it's close. I think it's clearly Fisher's the number 2, just like Coates is clearly the number 2 cornerback in this draft. And so I think Fisher would be a great fit here because, as always, just take the 21-year-old, the guy that's got a good ceiling in terms of that 4.6 40 means that he's going to have that ability to get to the quarterback. Even if it takes him a half second longer to get off the block, that speed's going to help him close the gap to where he's making an impact still.
Yeah.
And good, and like I also have them going Fisher, and I just want to add as well is he's, for being 1.6, he has help around him. He has people. He's not coming in at 1.6, asked to run that D line, asked to be the guy right away. Yeah. He's a bit more. He's 21. He's kind of raw. He's got a few things here or there that he's got to fix, and especially like just getting a second move because he can't just rely on being a power rusher his entire career. But just the people around him on that D line will help mitigate some of that in the beginning.
Well, the other thing about Fisher that's so nice is he had a knack in college for having a great pursuit mindset. Yeah. He would always pursue the running back.
High motor.
He's really good at getting that tackle. And so the speed, pursuit, and tackle makes me think that this guy has a real chance to really show out in terms of tackles for loss. I think he'd be a great contained guy off that outside, and I think that's going to give him some added value outside of him just being a great pass rusher.
Right.
Next up, we have the Browns from Denmark, Lars. It's like Browns is not as formidable as they were in last Madden. That's for sure. That's not a fault to anyone because it's better that way.
Yeah, they need it.
Yeah. Here, I think one of my other favorite players will go here. Though, I think here you have some interesting options to go, but I think there's a good chance that this player gets a little extra dev. I have him going Kari Gore. This guy, he's pretty he hits hard. He'll hunt you down as a safety, and he'll just punch you. He'll just hit you so hard, you'll just fall over. He's great safety. Just what I want there. One of the strongest safeties in this class. And one thing is, you may have heard this. He is the son of legendary coach Frank Gore. Frank Gore went into coaching, and Kari Gore followed him. He was like, all right, let's see this. But instead of becoming a top tier running back, which he just didn't have that really top end speed, which Frank never did either. Really. Not top end for a running back, but Kari just kind of had that knack for defense. He's a very good student of the game. He learned from his dad. And I think Kari Gore here will be a fantastic safety for the Browns.
So we're just going to ignore the bombshell that just got dropped.
Yep.
Trade pending.
I was gonna reference it.
Wait, I haven't seen this.
But the thing
ahead,
that
James.
flashed about Gore so much is...
Well.
1 second, my headset. The thing that flashed about Gore so much is in that Florida scheme, you had Fisher coming off one edge and then Gore playing contain off the other edge. Those two guys made a great combo for the Florida Gators this last season, who made a playoff appearance. They almost won it, but they played contain off the edge, and I think that's what Gore's going to be really good at. I'm a little interested in why he's listed as a free safety when I feel like he's more of a strong safety sub-linebacker kind of guy.
I'm not impressed by his coverage.
Yeah, but I think that as a run support safety, he's going to be great in contain. great at getting the running back down and making an impact.
And yeah, I think personally, I think he could be a face of AGML if he gets developed correctly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No, you.
I have Nathan Coates going here. You guys had him going a few picks up. We already talked about how good his speed is, and like especially when it comes to the NFC East with the Eagles roster and who they possess.
Yeah.
Like him having to cover Haskins, like this is just the perfect meta call for the NFC East right there. Bayless and the Giants. Like those guys are 95 plus speed guys that they're gonna have Coates cover just because they need them to at that point.
Yeah. But yeah, Coates, I think we've talked enough about Coates. Fast dude, probably great in the slot.
Dude fast.
No, wrong way. Wrong button. No one sees the old season preview.
Well, that's happening. There was another trade announced.
Another, or like
another? Well, like the Saints.
Okay.
Moving up
that
from
bombshell
1-9 to 1-2.
So again, our mocks have already been demolished like 4 times.
Yeah.
Which I love to see. We love to see this. That's a fun trade. I actually really like it. For the Saints. Well, I guess we can talk about that when we get to the Saints. But instead, we are at the Colts. Tato has gone. He has fell in love with his PS5. No longer really cares about us. So instead, you just have the team need yes for the Colts. You know, they can go anything, to be honest. Would you argue? Would you say that everything they can find a need somewhere?
No, absolutely. They are going best player available as best.
This
as
is probably by far the worst roster in the league. By like, you know.
Would you say that you are not excited for the future of this team?
You know, they're gonna get some top picks coming. It could be fun. Like if you come in to take over this team. Like, you get a lot of top-level talents.
Let your friends know.
Anyways, so, here with, the Colts pick, assuming they pick smartly, which I don't know what will happen, I have them going, honestly, my favorite player left on the board, Roderick Streets. I love the big DT up the middle, and I love a pass rushing DT, and this guy's that. He's a he's a pretty small dude. Like for DT, he's only 6'1", like not as big as some DTs you come to expect. But like I feel like he's like a John Randall. Like that's what I see in this guy. He's a lot like a John Randall. Like he's not the biggest dude in the world. Like not gonna beat you by his size. He'll beat you by his strength. He's very strong for a little DT and very fast. And he's got that move. I love him. I think he can be a potential 10+ sack a year guy in your interior line, which I could never get enough of that. Having one of those guys, they're my favorite. Like. That's one of my favorite luxuries in Madden to have a pass rushing DT. And I think here, the Colts, this guy is someone you build your D-line around and your front 7 around. Like, he gets that pressure. I love him. Can't speak highly enough. I wish I mocked him earlier, but, like, he's a DT. That's really the biggest reason he gets knocked for me. Not a popular position. James, we already talked, I guess, about this guy with you.
Well,
but
I sugarcoated it earlier, but I cannot say how much I love this guy. Garrett Robertson is insane, and that might be the ghost of Al Davis speaking through me as the Raiders the Raiders' current GM. But this guy, yeah, he's not one of the top 10 players in this draft. I will say that, but I don't care. I don't care. This guy is so insanely unique and talented that anybody that gets him is getting a guy. How often do you turn on a football game just to watch a receiver? That's this kind of guy. And so I think the Colts need something that's just going to get people to watch their team, to care about their team, and this is that guy.
And
I'd have mocked him higher, but somebody's going to be gutsy.
Yeah, exactly. I do agree, and at least with Robertson speaking, if they do go that route, at least they can just hand it off to the guy. They can just do wide receiver end arounds and stuff like that, so their quarterback doesn't even have to worry about it. But I'm going to agree with Tyler here and say that they address defensive line, start in the trenches. Roderick Street's obviously one of the best interior defensive linemen that have come out of this draft.
Mm-hmm.
Just the speed, the strength, the shuttle time, everything in that combine just oozes Hall of Fame potential on top of his ability to disrupt the passing game.
Yeah.
He's 6'1", 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of that's a lot of I'm trying to think what announcer would say this, but that's a lot of man in that fairly small frame for the position.
It's a lot of man.
he's so fast and so strong. And he has to move it's the complete package. And I want to, before we move on, I want to note that's the first offensive player officially off one of our boards with James's receiver pick there, which is insane to me from just a mock perspective. How long it took, just because it's just such a top heavy defense class. I think I like a lot of the fun defensive players, which will make this class interesting and seeing how the other players will fall, because there's going to be probably some decent offensive talent sneaking its way into places, might not get the best receiver or best, actually not best O-line. Best O-line, bad. I guess in this class it's only running back, tight end, and receiver. You only get the fun weapons.
The skill position.
Yeah, that's it. Next up we have the Steelers and Dustin. Wonderful. Dustin needs some help on defense, so excited to. Yeah, I think defense is where the Steelers need to look, and I think you still got some defense plays. So here, I have him going Juan Murphy. Got some talent. I believe he's actually projected fairly late, in case you can't find him yet. I guess he's only a second projection.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we've talked about this guy earlier. He's a very much, maybe not one trick, but he can still definitely run stop. But this guy's mostly focused on the speed rusher. That's what this guy is. He's would be very good on a 3-4 team. Fantastic player.
All right. James, who you got?
For the Steelers here, I actually have another cornerback going off the board, and that's just because I think this cornerback class is actually pretty well-rounded. And I have the cornerback Dante Jackson. The thing with Jackson is he doesn't flash anywhere except for the fact that he's very smart. And that's the thing I like about Jackson is he's really, really going to be hard to either mess up in terms of how aware he is during a game and also how well he recognizes plays. So that's why I have him going here. Plus, he's a 21-year-old. I mean, go ahead and take the young guy.
Yeah. Dante is, he's not bad. He's, especially if you need, actually he's listed as a slot, but he's not bad at zone. So.
No.
See how his man turns out.
Yeah, I have them addressing the defensive backfield as well with Kari Gore. And we already said everything we needed to say about Kari Gore. Steelers get a great pick here if he falls to them, because you guys had him going like 2 picks up to the AFC North / NFC East Browns. Um, so
Did I say it, or was it you who said it? I don't know.
that was me who
I
was
don't
talking
know
about
if
it, 'cause
I slipped up.
I had the Cowboys trade on my mind.
Actually insane. Still, and as we are talking about that, we're about to get into that trade. I think a little, maybe not too
Yes.
much, because this is in the hypothetical universe. Let's just say these trades get denied,
Yeah.
which I don't think that's
Yeah.
happening. As a badman in the trade committee, I don't think they're gonna be denied. But I think for the purpose of this mock draft, they denied in my head. So Saints, again, interesting team. Got what's some of those names? Shoot, I'm gonna forget and stall even longer.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. No, what's his name? Spencer, beautiful Tucker Spencer. He's getting older now, but he's beautiful on off the line, D line, and Chancellor, the receiver, both very good stalwarts on this team. So I think here, like, their biggest weakness, I think, is corner, which makes a lot of sense why they're going up. Like, their linebackers are but they're not.
Yeah.
They're definitely, like, not the worst. But
They want McQueen bad.
You think McQueen? I could see him going
I think
McQueen.
It's McQueen. I think it's
I
McQueen.
could see
you don't
them
trade up to 1-2 if it's not going McQueen. For the Saints, like.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, assuming McQueen's gone in this universe, I think we have to have them go Dante Jackson. Believe it was James who already had him gone, and I agree. Like, he's just a pretty decent guy. Like, this corner class is absolutely bonkers. Lots of top end corners to go around, and this guy's just one of them. And I think he has his little niche carved out compared to the rest, where he's a little more, zone dude. I don't love his combine as much as some of the others. He has a great bench press. But other than that, not quite as electric as some of the earlier, like the Coates or the McQueen. But as number 3 going off, he's very serviceable. Will be a great corner, and he's 21 out of FSU. Yep. Good dude. James?
What? Yes.
Who do you think the Saints are gonna pick here?
The Saints? Okay. So, obviously with the Saints trading up, I think they would take the cornerback. But I ended up mocking them Murphy here, who somebody had him going as high as 4 earlier. But I think this is kind of where his floor is. And so Murphy just seems like a good fit here if he's still on the board. So.
I mean, yeah, that's a steal in my book. I'm agreeing with Tyler here. I think they go Dante Jackson. They just need corner help. Yeah, like this team 2 seasons ago was winning the NFC South, and now they're 6-10. They have some questions at quarterback, but there's nothing there, and they really need to address that defensive backfield, especially.
I think,
but they have people to build around, right? And that's the best part about them.
I think new GM CJ will lead them to glory here. Good picks. I like these mocks. Or even like 4-9. And I mean,
yeah.
McQueen's, I think, no doubt for this team. Absolutely that guy for the Saints if they can get that him there. So yeah, here we are.
That's what James was doing. All right. Destroying the mock more, I see. Back to the Dolphins. I swear we already went over them.
Yep, Dolphins. So, I mean, just to look back at it, we had them, Alex, going linebacker, whether it was Barker or Murphy, and James had them going the second best corner in Coates. So here, I think we're going to see them with because they do have a need. They need a third receiver, and like the receivers aren't like world beat like the most amazing receivers I've ever seen to begin with. So like they have room to improve even their top end receivers. Like they're like they can still work there even without already still needing a third. So
Yeah.
I think it works out going receiver, and here taking Garrett Robertson, the electric pass in the passing game. Like actually these like top two receivers too right now, McDuffie Jr. The juniors. They're both 20 in like 22, 23. So imagine having Robertson who's 22. Like you have this insane core, and the only worry is paying them. But like this dude, I think like we've talked about him already. So broke. I think he's game changer. Like you couldn't cover all three of those guys. Just can't. And they have a good tight end to go with it. It's. I think Dan Marino Jr. would love all of these. I don't know what junior he could name this after.
He'll find it.
He'll find a junior.
Dang it. And we're gonna put a stop to it, but he'll find it.
James,
right.
with who are you picking for the Dolphins?
I have Robertson going so much earlier, but I do think that if Robertson's gone, Fox is the clear second receiver.
Yeah,
So
Fox is. I love Fox. Fox is a lot of fun here. I'm curious who you pick, Alex. Do you like Robertson?
Well, I am going. So you guys went offensively. I think the Dolphins continue to address the defense. I think they go Deion Gray here.
Wait, Alex.
Right.
You know what you just you did with your mock, right?
What'd I do?
Look how much offense is in your top 10. I love it. That's such a fun. That's a Mike.
I had that.
That is a Mike Zimmer top 10.
Yeah. No, of course. Yeah. Like
That's a fun
Look.
top 10.
Look, the Dolphins need defensive help a lot. They don't have corners. They're starting like very much stopgap corners every step of the way. Robertson, I get it. I see how you guys love him. I am so worried about his hands. He can get open. I get that. He can run a post like nobody's business.
Sure.
Can he catch the ball consistently is my concern with Robertson. And if you're going to spend a top 10 pick on a wide receiver, you're going to want it to be a very sure-handed guy.
I mean,
not a flash-in-the-pan guy.
I've seen his tape from college, and he's made some insane catches. Like, I don't know how he's made some of them.
Yeah, he's made... But he makes the hard ones look easy, but then he just drops. But the thing is like, he doesn't, with his speed, he doesn't necessarily need to have hard ones.
Sure.
He drops wide open ones. He has those mental blocks.
Sure.
And so I don't think you spend a top 10 pick on him as electrifying as he can be.
I guess,
There's
yeah.
a big chance that he just bombs. Whereas Deion Gray's a more safe pick. He's going to help that defensive backfield a lot. He's a very smart guy. I love his man coverage. I love his press, his ability to shadow a wide receiver. He can work in the slot. I think he has enough ability, just raw ability, to even press outside receivers if needed. Yes, he's 5'11", but that can still cover with just his ability to stick to people.
Yeah, no, Gray is, I mean, obviously not the consensus here with a receiver going, but...
Yeah. I like this defensive class.
So yeah, next up we have, the Buccaneers. Buccaneers, they have I think this team has a few more holes. These next few teams are oddly, I think have the most, like, holes we've seen.
Yeah.
Other than Colts. So I feel like Bucks can go a lot here, but I mean, I'm excited. I think there's gonna be a little receiver run here. Personally, I think here they will go. And I really, really like Rob Fox as well. James said it already, but Rob Fox out of Washington, he's not as fast not anywhere near as fast as Robertson. But the thing that this guy does, he runs deep routes amazingly as well, and I mean, like you said, you had concerns about his catching, or Robertson's catching. This guy has that catching. Maybe not as electric, but he's a slightly less electric with catching Robertson, and I think that's still very valuable. It's a very good scheme fit, a very common scheme fit with the deep threat. No route runners allowed.
Yeah.
And I think here, well, yeah, he's just like he's exciting. I think with that deep, he can do some damage.
Yeah. What are you thinking there, James?
So I like the safety Sims out of Bama. And the reason I like Sims is because he is fast. 4.46, I would have him as a free safety, honestly. But I think that what he would be doing is if you want to run support free safety that's not a liability in terms of deep or like back end speed, that's where I like Sims.
For sure.
Like he's like, I love him in coverage. Like you like ask him to get anywhere on the field quickly, I think he'll be there.
Yeah. Like he'll come down into the box and then just sprint all the way back, and he'll make that coverage happen.
And you, Alex?
But for me, I think Robertson goes here. He's still the best receiver in this class, as much as I worry about his hands. But the Buccaneers need a wide receiver. Robertson has that ability to be explosive. And at 111, it's a lot less risk than 110. Very, very semantically, but still.
Yeah, no, I like. I mean, we couldn't heap enough praise on Robertson. This dude just seems so fun to watch. I'm so excited for him in the sim. Just watching him.
I can't wait to get burnt. I can't wait to eat my words when he becomes a buck and he just burns me every play.
Anyways, on to the Bills. Another team with a lot of problems, a lot of holes. None are like alarming, but they're all needed, I think. So here I have the Bills from the Bucks going. I wanted to give them actually a third receiver. Because they do need a receiver, but I think looking at their safeties, they have no one back there.
Yep.
They need someone to just be that anchor for that defense. And it's like we were saying, Sims, beautiful. Love his speed combo with bench, beautiful. And he's just the kind of guy I want on my being that guy in the back. Maybe coming up in the box, but he's gonna be a difference maker.
Absolutely. James, what are you thinking?
So at this pick, I am looking at. I think so. Robertson's the best offensive player that I have on my board, but I think the second best guy, ignoring positional bias and all that, is the tight end McCoy. And the reason I like McCoy so much is because he absolutely flexed at the combine. He just said, you know what? I'm going to show I'm the best player at this stupid thing. Put a linebacker on me, I'll burn him. Put a cornerback on me, I'll jump him. And, I mean, that's what you're getting. You're getting a 6'6" tight end that has insane agility and athleticism.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to go wrong.
I think with McCoy, it's imagine, because Robertson's from Michigan too.
Yeah,
I believe. So imagine that offense where you either have Robertson doing either posts or goes or whatever all day, and then you have McCoy doing some intermediate stuff. How do you stop that? You can't. I don't think. That Michigan team must have done some damage with that. I think we'll talk about McCoy later. I love him, but I don't know if he'll go that high, sadly. And Alex?
Yeah, so I have you guys went Fox as your number 2. I think actually it's Andrew Childress. We talk about Robertson's speed. Childress runs 0.05 seconds slower than he does. His shuttle's similar. His 3-cone is similar. However, he does not come with that concern of is he going to make the catch once he's open.
Sure.
His route running is a bit of an issue, right? He's not going to do double moves. He's not going to run great routes out the gate.
Yeah, I'm very worried about his routes.
To get open, and he's not going to be a liability when he is open. And he'll catch balls, and even if he can't get, separation, he still can make those amazing catches. He can still catch in traffic when there's 2 guys on him. I think outside of just Robertson has that electrifying game-breaking speed, I think Childress is my number 2 receiver in this class.
Yeah, Childress, I just have concerns of him using that, speed deep. You can catch it and use that speed all he wants, but, if he just can't fake out corners, it might be hard for him to, get that separation, even with his top-end speed.
Sure.
I'm afraid he can't run more than a go route,
Absolutely.
So we'll see how that pans out. That's my biggest worry about Childress. I like Childress here. I don't think it's a bad pick. I think, but it's tough. But Bills could use him.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Scrubs, bad team. We have Seahawks, who are stuck in mediocre. How they actually not many holes, I don't think, on my team, but not best at anything. So here for Ole Me, and I don't lie about my mocks. So this is my analysis on my own pick. We have.
Before you rattle off about Bowers, I want to say the reason I have Bowers going here, because I actually picked Bowers to go here, and I feel like that's where you're going to go, is he's 21, but he's a slot corner. So he's got great ability. The thing about slots is they can tackle.
Yeah.
But he's also 6'3". So this guy, I feel like this guy, honestly, I wouldn't list him as a cornerback. I list him as a DB. I think this guy is a free safety. I think he's a slot corner. I think he's a boundary corner. I mean, that 4.41, that bench press is pretty decent too. He can rough some people up. I mean, this is the kind of receiver that's going to be really cornerback that's going to be really nasty for anybody no matter where he lines up.
So yeah, I agree. Bowser is probably my pick. He's a scheme fit for me. Great. I love having corners that can at least be competent in both man and zone, or just DBs, because you don't know what Madden's gonna call. You can't, when you're playing, you can call only cover 3. You can call what works for you, but Madden will call a mix, and so it's hard to you want something that does both. Well, he's another guy. He's just so fast, so strong. One thing I love about this guy, this dude's lanky. This dude's a lanky motherfucker. He is 6'3", 180 pounds, for a quarter. This dude, and he has, he's on the strong, obviously 15 reps isn't that much, but for a corner, that's up there. So, this lanky dude, 15 reps for a dude who has, 180 pounds. There can't be any body fat there. It has to be only muscle. There's no way you're that tall and that, low weight without only being a muscle. So, I like that of Bowers.
A muscle.
He's only muscle.
Yep.
It's funny. No, just I don't think he's as refined as some of the other corners. That's my biggest concern with him. But I think he has the potential to be fantastic going forward.
So for me, I think because James, I believe you said that you also had Mike Bowers going. You already made your thing. So for me, I have Will Robertson going. And Tyler, I noticed looking through your team that you are a 3-4.
Yeah.
and you have no good linebackers as pass rushers.
That's not true. I right now it's really weird how my I've been lazy and haven't changed. I'd use one of my ends as normally.
As a linebacker?
Yeah.
Why not take Will Robertson and become a 4-3?
Maybe. I guess I could. I could think about it.
Right? Like, you have a great D-line already. And with Robertson being there as that number 2 D tackle, you already have McDougal.
Yeah.
You already have George. You already have Wallace.
It would be fun. I do.
Fill out that amazing D-line. You don't have good pass rushing linebackers right now.
I have one.
Maybe you did. Maybe you did last season.
No, I do have one. It's my superstar. He's not bad.
Campbell?
Oh yeah. I guess he doesn't get that many sacks.
No,
but...
Campbell's not a superstar.
No, wait.
Ooh.
He's again. I told you he's at edge. He's at left end.
But that's what I'm telling you. Like, you already have the edge rushers, not linebacking edge rushers, is what I'm telling you.
But he is a linebacker. Like, I play him as a linebacker edge rusher. Sampson.
Oh, well then just trade Wallace.
We'll see.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't, because like you have a really good middle linebacker. You have young coverage guys, right?
Sure.
On the outsides for linebackers, and then just move to a 4-3 and just beef that defensive lineup. Because I feel like that's where your running defense really struggled, is that you're just playing out a scheme.
I guess. I don't know. I don't think it's that pressing of a need, but maybe.
Sure, but I mean, like, it for me, it's like best player available. You got Will Robertson here, a great run-stopping defensive tackle that can clog up the hole.
Maybe, yeah.
Next to McDougal.
Could see. Could play around, I guess. So yeah, that's me. Either one of those boys, are here. There we go. I messed everything up.
Oh no.
There we go.
Oh sweet. Okay.
So next up we have the titties. Good old titties. And this is the first of 2 picks, with their second being for the Wayland quarterback, sending them up. And they have a few key needs: tight ends, 1, and then D-line and linebacker, and I guess O-line. But O-line, like, everyone has O-line as a need pretty much, and O-line's very moot this draft because you're not getting one early, I don't think, unless there's someone I don't know about. Anyways, Titans here, I think just go a smart pick. I think they just go Brandon Picard, who he's just one of those guys. Like, his combine, as I believe this is 3rd or 4th edge rusher off, maybe 5th. We've had a lot. But Picard is and like, I don't think he does anything better than those guys, but he is just a solid, run stopper. Like, he can stop the run, but also has a good power move to bolster it. Combine's not bad, but not insane. But we're at 114. I don't think you can get the perfect edge rusher out of the draft here without maybe taking a couple things that's like maybe not perfect. So I think Picard, wonderful guy, wonderful D-line, great for that team.
James?
I have. So my pick here is Streets. You guys talked about him earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a ton of scouting on DT, so I couldn't feel confident taking this guy. You guys mocked him at 8.
Yeah.
I didn't feel confident mocking him that high, but
Love
I
him.
think at 15, just because I don't know. DT is such a hard position to project, because even a great DT,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a great
He's
DT
not lasting
is
by
only...
me. I will absolutely change my scheme for him.
Oh wow, you're gonna kind of listen to what I said with
For Streets.
No, of course.
Streets is not Robertson.
I guess, yeah, you're right. Or Robinson is not Street.
Sure. Like, Robertson's just run stopping. Streets
Sure.
is a monster.
You already have enough pass rushers.
Who cares?
You need to run block it. You
Who
need
cares?
run
Who
stuffers,
cares?
man.
Who cares?
I like the pick though, Austin. James. I have Josh McCoy going out of Michigan. We already talked about Josh McCoy before. I believe James picked him earlier. I mean, like, what else is there to say? Look at that combine. Look at that amazing hands. Just everything. Like, like, it says it right there. Makes highlight reel plays. And
What's so funny? Anyways, McCoy
yeah,
is.
no, it's so funny is the fact that like that McCoy gets, and like Saunders, right, the Titans quarterback, gets an amazing weapon in McCoy, and just like how explosive the offense is going to be next year,
So-
and Saunders gets to develop more.
I love McCoy up here so much, and it sucks. Like, my mock draft won't. This is a spoiler. I will not have him anytime soon because I think what we're about to see is a giant hole where no one needs tight end that bad over other positions, and I wish I couldn't have him going this high. And I just had a couple other like positions that need go right before him. Fantastic dude.
Yeah. And it fills a need. I mean, like, tight ends are hard to come by a lot of times.
Next up, we have the Eagles. Eagles actually, like, again, they're I guess now a few years off from that Super Bowl.
I mean, like, they showed up just the season prior. Like,
But
they're not too far. It was just a miracle run, to be honest. Like, they
That's
were
fair.
the 7th seed.
that
They
is
were the 7th
fair.
seed. Like,
But here, yeah, you have they need
They
a
weren't
lot of
low
work on
leaders.
their front seven. So I think
Yes.
here, we have Tevin Dawson going, who is another 3-4 linebacker. This guy's another power dude. I like him actually more than almost every other. Like I said, a lot of other guys can be competent in the run game. This guy's not bad at run or block shedding either. So this guy's has a move and some block shed. I think actually this guy might be a very good linebacker. I love him actually. Every time I look at him, it's like, how did he fall? And it's probably because of speed and also because of abundance of pass rushers this draft. But like this guy's really good. The more I look at him, it's like, wow,
and he's young.
he is young.
21. 21.
Yeah. So it's like, all these combined, I think this is a good steal. Like, honestly, could almost go higher, but I think he's not the worst spot.
No.
James?
So
going,
my
James?
pick
Yeah.
here is going to be, and I have zero clue on how to say his last name, but I love
It's like
it.
Carmelo. It's Jarmelo.
Jarmelio.
Carmelo.
I don't know.
I think it's Jarmelo, but this guy's combine is just insane. And so what I think you're going to see here is you see a guy that can play either end or either linebacker position. And I think that's going to be really helpful because I don't know if this guy knows what he's doing yet. But
He's
I
raw.
think he's a perfect project for somebody. Just take the 21-year-old, give him 5 years to really hit his peak, and I think you'll be rewarded for it.
This guy is he's so raw. He just has that physical talent. Like, he's a monster. Like, honestly. But he just doesn't have any, of the skills needed for edge and the NFL level where it's like, wow, this guy's going to be out of the gate top tier pass rusher. But I think
Or run stopper,
Yeah.
for that matter. Like, he might not be able to break off of a tackle.
yeah, absolutely. I think, but this guy, he has so much potential. Like, the ceiling, like, you don't see too many of these guys, I feel like, in Madden. Like, especially this good. Like, he's such a project, but I think could reap some really good rewards if you work on him, get him to be a good pass rusher. And Alex, you also have Tevin, right?
I have Dawson. Yeah, I agree with you
Yeah.
on Dawson. Everything that you said about him.
Dawson's not bad.
He's 21.
Honestly,
No.
Eagles are in a great spot here if they want to take a pass rusher.
Yeah. And this is like their golden draft because they have a pretty good offensive unit right now.
Yeah. So next up we have Jim, Huskies Jim. And Jim, after having a top pick last year, his quarterback worked out all right, I think. Not a bad season for his quarterback. So I have him, ignoring that offensive side, not helping his quarterback. I have him going Will Robertson. He doesn't even need like DT that bad right now, but his line's getting older. Not the greatest line, could use some work. But at this point, Robertson's such a talent. Like, he's a great player, but there's so much other good players above him, but like at this point it's like you see him, it's like, well, you can't let him fall, someone this good, fall past me at 116. And you can make it work with Jim's team. I figured it out. I forget exactly what, but this guy, like, I think he's 23 is a little scary, I guess, but he already has that talent coming in. I think for Jim, Robertson will be an instant payoff. Hopefully make that playoff push. And Jim has some, Jim in the stream, classic combo. So anything can happen once you get to the stream with Jim.
So for my selection here, I have Picard. And I don't think we talked about enough that he's 6'3", 288. So to me, he's actually an undersized DT. And that makes his 4.73 that much more impressive. And so I would play this Picard guy as my rush defensive tackle, honestly. And he's got the speed to really be like an Aaron Donald kind of fit. And
that's
so
an interesting
I
place
see him
to
as
put
a
him.
big project. And I actually really like this guy.
I do like
So
Picard.
essentially, put him at DT instead.
I would actually play him at defensive end, but I'd use him as my rush DT. Because
I see. Okay.
get that size that still matters in the run game, and because he can still tackle. This guy can tackle. But at the same time, put a big boy in the center that can have some speed, close that pocket faster. I think you'd see a big difference.
I like it. I also have him going Picard, just because I think that he's got to replace his left end, Beckford, right now. He's got a great right end in Pryor, obviously. He's got Alexander at defensive tackle, and he's got Hayes at defensive tackle as well, but either of those could be replaced by Picard easily. They just need one more rotational guy in that position, and Picard helps get that rotation going.
Absolutely. I mean, I had Picard going to the Eagles, but was it the Eagles or was it? No, it was Titans.
Yes.
But 2 picks already. Yeah, Picard's great. I think he'll be fun, and I think with Picard and some of these this tier of pass rushes, I think it's just a scheme thing that determines where these guys will go. Next up, we have the Vikings, and the Vikings need a quarterback, truth be told, but you're not getting on here unless you really want to reach. So you have a couple other holes you can get. O-line you're not filling here, so you're basically left with like linebacker or corner. That's kind of like what I see. That's like a good deal. That's a kind of a need. And they already have Rakeem Barrett, who's 24. Not too bad. I think he's 78 overall, but he's a young corner. But he needs someone to pair with. Like, playing him like without any help, he's suffering. He's really not having a good time learning the position at an NFL level. So here I have them going Deion Gray, who was mocked a little earlier by, I believe, or was it? Let me look.
It was me.
Was it you?
I had him.
Yeah, and I think Gray's great. Questionable how well he will do in zone, but I'm not too worried about that. But very good man. He can jam a bit off the line. Could see him working in the slot, but I think he pairs well on that Vikings defense. Get start to really bolster that up again.
James, who are you thinking here?
So I know you guys talked about Dawson earlier, only about 2 picks ago, but that would be my pick here. I didn't like him as much as you guys did, but I think that he's got a decent set of traits, and I think he's got a decent set of athleticism that'll make him a good fit. He is a little bit big, though, for an outside linebacker, 6'5", 266. So I would look at him as an end, possibly, but maybe a 4-3 end. But yeah, I think he's a good fit here.
He could almost be like a bar in a lot of ways.
Yeah, he's big.
He's a big dude, tall.
Speaking of big dudes, I had Bowers. I thought Gray was the better corner.
Yeah.
You guys had Bowers going to
Me.
Tyler. Yeah. So not too far back.
Lanky boy.
I do like his
Lanky
speed.
boy.
Yep, lanky boy, good speed guy. They do need like a number one in terms of size differential. The corners are very small in stature. They have only one person over 6 feet. We have Nate Bell in that backfield. We have Watkins in that backfield for safety help, and like Bowers just being able to continue that coverage. They were third in passing defense last year, and I think with Bowers they just become first automatically.
Yeah, it'll be that, which is insane with how looking at how depleted the corners are. Like they had a good pass defense, so Bowers helps. Next up we have the Falcons, the Dirty Birds. So you missed the playoffs by a game. Tragic. I did it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you did it. You caused it.
But they had the quarterback of the future clearly with McCann. I think that offense is almost set. Maybe you could your D-line's actually, or your O-line just needs a guard. As you get a guard, even a serviceable one. That offense is completely set. Perfect, I think. Not perfect, but as good as one could hope for. So you need a little work on a few positions on your defense, but your front seven's good. I like it. So I think here you have to commit to a defensive back, either a corner or safety. And I think here with there's been a bit of a run on corners. I think all the good early plentiful corners are starting to dry up. There might be a couple more here or there, but I think here you have to be smart and go with the BU safety, Tremaine Stokes. And Stokes, I think he's actually, he's listed as strong safety. I like him a lot more as a free, personally. The guy is a little better at, he's faster, maybe not quite as, strong, but, I think this guy has the zone to back it up. And I think either safety position this guy will do great at. But he's just, physical, fast, and hunts people down. I like him. Not a whole lot left to say.
So with the Falcons, it's also of note that they have to hit on this pick because this is their draft. The Falcons only have one selection in this entire draft. And so that's why I'm going to mock them one of the late risers in this draft, which is Jawan Lippett. Now, the way Lippett got noticed is during Michigan's pro day. Lippett, who was a 6th or 7th rounder before this process all started, lined up against Robertson, and he was the only guy that got under his skin in practice. Everybody else, Robertson ran circles around him in practice, but Lippett, who sneakily impressed with his late invite to the combine, actually looks like he might be a steal here. Late riser.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That does. Especially since, the trade got denied, I'm kind of mad, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Trade denied.
I kind of want to stoke some flames. I lost my safety that I traded
Stoke some flames.
3 years ago. 3 years ago
Yeah.
to the Dolphins. I traded a first for him. Um. Oh no, no, I'm joking. This is the lore now. But yeah, so I'm gonna go Stokes. I'm gonna address my safety position. I've always kind of neglected corner. I always thought safeties were kind of more important in my eye, just to cover the back end of it. And Stokes having that great zone coverage, Stokes being able to lay the wood and run coverage, being able to cover, the entire field as a free safety is where I would go for sure if he falls to me.
Sure.
I have like decent starters. My corners aren't good either,
Yeah.
to be fair, but that's like very much my weakness at this point.
Mhm.
And it showed against Kevin.
Yeah. You got destroyed by Kevin. That was sad.
Yeah.
I was it was actually, I was like, oh, no, that's a competitive game. Then Kevin just
fine.
whoops you. It's like, F.
Brent avenged me.
Good.
With the
Anyways,
27-0.
we have another Dolphins pick. Oh, this one's, this is the more interesting ones, because it's like, alright, we already mocked him 2 guys. I believe, we've, first pick, we've given linebacker, corner for James. Then the second, James and I gave him receiver. Alex gave him corner. So, where will he go? Let's find out. Yeah, what will he do? Oh wow. Here, I think continue, or they went defense, offense, defense in mind. So here, I think this is where you take Nick Jaramillo, whatever. And I think here, you have so many with all these first round picks. You have a little bit of like, you can take that risk on this project. Maybe he'll have better pass rush moves than we think, But he's very raw. But I think this Dolphins team can take a little bit of a risk with all these firsts. Get that project guy and make him a monster that Josh clearly can. He's very good at deving people. Like, I hate how good he is. But Jaramillo is insane. Like, how much of a not Daniil. Like, Daniil had a pass rush move, but just a lot of that physicality that's just like, it's like, ooh, that's fun. But yeah.
So we've talked about the Florida defense that got them into the playoffs this last playoff season for college football. But another guy that went under the radar a little bit, as he wasn't the flashy pass rusher and he wasn't the flashy safety, was Nate Franklin, the 308-pound, 6'6" run stopper on that Florida defensive line. Now in college he played inside at DT, but he's being projected as a defensive end at the next level. But I mean, he runs a 4.73 just like the guy that was 288, and that was fast for a 288 guy. For a 300-pounder, a 4.73 is very impressive. Yeah. This guy is moving fast, and he is bringing the heat. He can hit, he can tackle, he can run people down. I like this guy. I mean, obviously, guys you want on your defensive line, you want to put, what's it called? You want to put a guy with the pass rush move on the line, but I think every once in a while you can say, I'll just put one of the biggest, meanest guys to tackle out there.
I like Nate's good.
To bank off of that, James, I just looked back at what Roderick Street ran. At 6'1", 304, he ran a 4.8. So you have 6'6", 308 running faster than the top defensive tackle in this class.
Now, one thing to remember is, I honestly think Streets is a better pass rusher than Franklin.
No, absolutely.
Like,
but just in terms of raw ability, of just like, what is that guy doing type of deal, absolutely. But I have the Dolphins now addressing their offensive side. I think Rob Fox, who is, for me, the third best wide receiver. You guys see him as the clear number 2. I think it's Childress. That's okay. We'll see how the chips lay. But we already talked about his hands. We already talked about his route running. For me, I just like the speed of
Oh,
Childress
sure.
more than
Yeah.
Fox.
And I
You guys
think
like
it
that
might
deep
honestly,
route.
it might be up to scheme fit. Like if you're like
Mhm.
if you have a slot scheme, you pick Childress. If you have a deep route, you pick Fox. I think they're pretty par. I think as
Yeah.
far as two. I
But
like. Sorry.
I think Franklin just fits that same role of
Yeah.
put him at end in base and then move him inside for your rush package.
Mhm.
I think that's.
Ooh,
But I
that
mean,
could be fun.
that's a hard commitment to do for most people, is to say, okay, I'm going to take a situational guy. I'm going to
Yeah.
take a guy that's not going to just line up and play the same position
But again,
every down. So.
with this Dolphins pick, with their 4 picks, they have a little wiggle room. They have some, they can take a risk or take some fun, weird projects, that would be, it's not a must hit here. You can
Nope.
have some cool, like boom or bust picks, and I
mean,
think
these guys don't have to play and excel this season. They can be good in a
Yeah.
season or two.
Yeah, I like those picks. I hope Josh won't be mad at us. I think Josh will like our picks. Like I always feel
God,
bad
these
that we
idiots.
feel like we're writing off someone. It's like this guy just has 4 picks. It's fun.
I mean, he's got to do something with
You
them.
have to
He's
pick
got
him.
to succeed.
Yeah.
He has
Like-
to succeed after it.
Next
He
up,
can have all the picks in the world if he doesn't win.
did the Dolphins make the playoffs?
Nope.
They just missed it. Now Twinkie made the playoffs.
No, I would say they did more than just. They went 5-11.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure. Well, duh, because Dolphins traded to get it. My bad.
yeah. 4 is their original pick.
Yeah. I totally am just blanking on that because I just look at the mocks like, oh, 19's a playoff spot.
19 is the
19
Panthers.
Yeah. Okay.
What was the Panthers pick?
Sure. Anyways, next up we have the Oklahoma City Bison. Oh yeah.
Bison.
Please, oh god, I hate bisons. Please, no. It's not grammatically correct. It's bison. There's no plural of multiple American bison or bison. Ugh.
Take it from the north. Take it from the Northerners.
The North Dakota State fan here. Go bison. Yeah.
There you go.
Twinkie is like 2, I guess 3, but he's one of the first people. It's like, wow, he needs some help on offense. He needs just to help Spitz or get just a little more weapon. Like it's not dire, but I think you gotta help Cody out. Not Cody, Cow or Lions.
Lions.
But Cody, the quarterback. Anyways, here I think Twinkie has to take. He's been sitting here too long for me. Alex has been hyping him up. This is where Childress goes. I won't. He could go earlier. He has the talent to go earlier, but just how team needs fell, he kind of fell down.
Sure.
And yeah, he has great hands. He's very explosive. Route running is the concern. We've already talked about that. Yeah, I think he's number 3, but just barely. Like these top we've had insane receivers every class this year. I don't know which is the best class so far, but this is at least not embarrassing. But yeah, I think getting that team another weapon, I think might help them go even farther.
All right. James, who you feeling here?
So I have the middle linebacker, Terrell Godwin. And the reason I have Godwin is he's a beefy boy, 6'1", 247. He runs a 4.61. He's got good agility, and he's a little bit he's got some strength in the middle. So I think that Godwin would be a really good at solidifying the run defense for the Bison. And I think that would be an important part of making sure they go a little bit deeper in the playoffs next year.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, they definitely want to, with Spitzer being as performing as he's been.
yeah.
But I agree with you, James. I think Godwin is the pick here. I love his tackling. I love his he's just the quintessential like
Gotta
run
nose for the ball.
stopper. Yeah, like he knows how to fill a gap. He knows how to hit strong when you do. Yeah, nothing more needs to be said outside of just might not be able to be a help in the passing game, unfortunately.
Yep. I can see him taking linebacker. I just think, like, I just have receiver, or I even thought about giving him one of the halfbacks still on our board. Just because, just making that offense tick per like that. But I look at their halfbacks, and even though he has a lower overall, the guy still had 900 yards. So
It's
not
fine, yeah.
not a bad.
Like,
that's why I didn't give him one of the halfbacks still available, just because it's just.
Yeah.
But I think with Childress, that could be some fun plays. Thinking I like Brett Favre and Percy Harvin. Like you had some fun there, some like interesting play calling with that much talent. Next up we have the Chargers. We have Josh, other Josh. Too many Josh. There's been 5 Josh picks this draft. That's a fun fact. 5 Josh picks.
5 Josh picks. Dang.
And Josh has basically one thing. One thing I see, like he could use outside linebacker. That is something he could do. He needs DT. That team might be a DT away, I think, from being scary good. I thought they would have gone actually farther last year without a DT. That's kind of my fault. I didn't trade him because I got distracted.
Aw.
Yeah, I kept forgetting to trade him. He wanted my 74 overall DT, and I ghosted because I'm a bad person. Anyways, here I have him going, Hugh Poindexter, right end out of Oklahoma State. And this guy, he is a right end. Move him DT. Move him DT right away. He's a big dude, 6'3", 307 pounds, strong, a bit agile, but this guy is DT. That's all I have to say. He's great at block shedding, can hit pretty hard, and runs people down. I love him. I think he's a great DT. Just looking at him. Don't like him as an edge rusher at all. Maybe I guess in a 3-4 or something, but Josh, move this guy to DT and you're set.
Okay.
I like Poindexter, and I think that he's got some very interesting. He's another guy that I like. Play him at edge, but move him into rush DT. There's a lot of those guys like that in this draft that I feel really comfortable about. But I think that knowing Josh, I think that Sean Livingston's the pick here. I think you take this 3-4 pass rusher, you stuff him way down the depth chart, and you just let him build for 2 years. And then in his first season as a starter, or whenever he's 23, I think he comes out and gets 10 sacks for the Chargers. I think he's the kind of guy you let him wait until he's ready, and then you unleash him on the league. So that's why I like Livingston. I think he could play either end or either linebacker position or outside linebacker position.
That would be an interesting take for Josh to just not essentially stash a linebacker during the prime of Wallace's career.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the future of the team, I feel like that'd be a smart move. I feel like Josh wants to win now. He's been wanting to win at least a playoff game, and I think Poindexter better does that for them. He's essentially the antithesis of Livingston. He's got great strength, right, and great quickness off the line. He just doesn't have that top end speed. He's a great D tackle. He just doesn't have that good power pass rush move like Livingston does, right? So he, Tyler already thought about this, just with what he does. He does, and everything on here as well. I think that better solidifies his chance for winning a playoff game come next year.
I just love this guy up the middle. He's I look at him and that's DT. I don't know why they even put him at edge. It hurts my head to think of him as anything other than a DT. He's perfect DT. So that's my take. I do like what's his face? Georgia dude, Livingston, Sean Livingston, basketball guy, spelled differently
There
though.
you go.
But yeah. Next up we have the Chiefs. Chiefs actually did not bad. I like their team. Small holes. They're very good. Paul set them up. Now they're actually looking good. Now that Paul's gone, better than actually when without Paul. So, what does that say? There. Paul's never gonna listen to this until Austin like shows him. Hi,
Yeah.
Paul. Love you. Say hi to your wife for me. Anyways,
Oh,
talking about
Where's Paul?
Livingston. Here's where
the
I.
Chiefs.
Yeah. Paul was the Chiefs,
Yeah, I see what you're
right?
saying. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he
And
was. No, I see what
That's
you're
what I'm
getting
saying.
at
Like
now.
he set this team up, and now they have, they're actually doing great. With their JCP. Yeah, you know me. I'm gonna get sidetracked. I need another to focus on Sean Livingston, 3-4 pass rusher, and we just talked about him. Livingston's pretty decent. We've had so many good pass rushes. I feel like I've seen so many like guys, and even the guys without like a solid pass rush move, they have something else that like pushes them forward. But like most of these like pass rushes, especially this far down, have moves, like have
Yeah.
usable moves, which I think's wild. And there's some good depth in if you want a good pass rusher. And I think Chiefs here take the rare opportunity to both make the playoffs and get a meaningful pass rusher this late. I'm worried about biggest thing I'm worried about is his strength, and his some of his physicals aren't as great as some of the other dudes. But he doesn't really use he uses his like quickness and agility to get that pass. So hopefully he can min-max that and become a monster for the Chiefs.
For sure.
So I won't bore you guys with any more Robertson talk. We've talked enough about the two Robertsons in this draft, the Michigan and the Michigan State rivals. But I think the DT here is a good fit. Like I said, I just don't think there's so many ends that projected DT as rush DT that I don't think that the pure DT has as much value in this draft. I think that this is a draft that if you really like a run stopper that you're going to keep on the field for 3 downs, take him.
Yeah.
But if otherwise, take the edge that you can then move inside on pass rush downs. I think you'll get more mileage out of that.
For sure. I have the Chiefs going David Tolbert.
The second
Or Tolbert.
the second Alabama strong safety off the board, I believe for you.
And so because like they have a decent backfield outside of strong safety. They have Nick Vick starting right now. who's
Classic.
young, but like not that good. Whereas like you take the 21-year-old with good agility, decent speed, and can cover. Like he actually for a strong safety has great coverage abilities while still being able to be a force in the running game. And being 21 this late in the game, like
See, what's odd, I think, about these Bama safeties is they're both strong safeties, but Tolbert is clearly the free safety of the two. Like, you could tell which one played strong and which one played free, or at least whatever they called it, or whatever that system is in Bama with, like, Nick Saban. Like,
Nick Saban's dead.
well, no, Nick Saban got, like,
40.
no, but he got like body modifications, like those Futurama heads in the jar, like like where the heads just stay in like this jar.
Honestly,
Nick
the head
Saban.
coach of Alabama in 2040 is gonna be Bill O'Brien. Mark my words.
Oh God, I would love that. That would be so chaotic.
I think an 89-year-old Nick Saban could still win the SEC.
Yeah, hey, not wrong. He doesn't have a kid. Fuck his kids. Oh man. Now Twitch is gonna mark us down for profane language. Boom! I did it. We lost our partnership.
She said going off the rails. Yes, this is when I need to focus. This is when It's 2 hours and I gotta.
And what a time to focus.
The
with
last-
the next Dolphins pick, baby.
Last one! We're here! We've made it! The 4th! I love it. Honestly, no matter what, this class, like, the only thing, like, I know Josh has to trade for, like, a future with one of these picks. Like, because you're screwing yourself. You're shooting yourself in the foot if you have 4 picks, just because Madden's like, nope, you can't develop more than 3 guys. You can't have them developing. So I feel like just... And he's going to get a... Wait, so he gets his pick next year, right?
Yes, he gets his future.
And then he gets a
that would've been
future.
132.
So he has guaranteed 2 picks already going to next year.
Yeah.
First. And if you trade back for that's another 3 next year. What? This is insane. Yes. I love it. Like, this is just pick building to the max.
Yeah.
Yeah, my only concern is it's going to be hard to all those players. But,
yep.
Hope that works out. Anyways, here I have the not Chiefs. We're moving from the Chiefs. The Dolphins finally taking one of the last safe corners that are like really good, last of the good crop, Jawan Lippett. And Lippett's not bad. He's like not the most exciting. He's a very decent athlete, but not exceptional compared to like McQueen or Coates. Like he's a very just well-rounded corner, very much a man's or slot corner, but for a team that needs some corners, I think Lippett here is gonna be one of the last good corners you can take this class if you so desire.
I also think corner's a good fit here, but I'm going to end up going with Deion Gray, the corner out of Clemson.
Sure.
I liked Gray earlier. My problem with Gray is he's a little bit smaller, and he doesn't have as much speed as you'd like to see. That's why I had Lippett above him. Also, Lippett has that size.
Yeah,
if you want an outside
that
corner.
is true.
But I think Gray is a pretty solid final corner in this first round.
For sure. And then... Tyler, just to let you know, I accidentally swapped my 2 picks.
Sure.
I meant to have Livingston here. That's my bad. And the Jets were gonna have the guy that I had after.
Okay, so
yeah, they literally were just I just put one down before the other, and I was like, wait, that's not supposed to be there. So yeah, I think it's Livingston. The Dolphins went earlier, right? They went and they grabbed Murphy. They still need linebacking help. And they kind of keep in that front 7, or like that linebacker, defensive back.
See, it's clean. It looks normal now.
Yeah.
I fixed it.
Yeah, sorry. My bad. I just realized that. I was like, that wasn't what I meant. And so you get like 2 good young linebackers in Livingston who, has good pass rushing move. Again, he's 21 this late in the game. His combine's still decent. He's still got a decent combine. It's not like, amazing, but he can still be a pass rusher. He can still tackle, and he gets to address that linebacker position twice.
Yeah.
Right, because that linebacking core is
double dip?
Pretty bad. I think if they're going to double dip anywhere,
you can focus
if they're
train
double dip anywhere,
linebackers.
it's this linebacking area that just has like one okay guy in Curry. He's an
yeah.
And but still, like he's 24 X factor, but everyone else is like.
Yeah.
I
like Livingston.
Yep. No, and I saw that and I was like, oh, that guy wasn't supposed to be there.
Especially, did you already? No, you didn't give them a receiver, did you?
I gave him a receiver. I gave him Fox.
Oh, Fox there. Yes.
I knew I gave them Fox. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think Sean Livingston's a role here.
Anyway, so I mean, it looks like I gave them outside linebacker with Barker, receiver with Robertson. Then I gave them a left end project with Jaramillo, and then a corner with Lippett, where Alex gave them linebacker Murphy, cornerback Gray. Then you gave him Fox, and then a linebacker Livingston, and then James gave him Coates, Then also gave them
Fox.
Fox and Franklin and great. So we all kind of have the same, almost the same page where we know they're gonna for sure get a line. We all are pretty consensus. Oh, actually, not consensus on linebacker actually for James. It looks like, but for sure corner and receiver at. Wait, did you give him corner? No, you didn't. Shoot. My bad. Oh no, you did. You gave him Gray.
Yeah, we give coach. Yeah,
So I
Coates,
think
give
what's
him
funny,
Gray.
what I think is hilarious, actually, you guys, Alex, you gave him Gray and Fox. James, you gave him Gray and Fox, but you gave him Alex Gray at 110 and Fox at 119,
119.
where James gave him Fox at 110 and Gray at 123. So we'll see where these values of these players actually end up ironing out. I think that's fascinating. Just like you're so consensus on the players, but like where they go is so off, like completely other planets. So
Yep.
I like these picks actually. For like I was joking, we're just gonna run out of people to give them, but I like these picks. Fun guys. Mushroom. Next up we have the Jetties. JETE. Chances. Chance the Jets.
X Factor with his X Factor quarterback, X Factor running back that he drafted in back-to-back drafts. Who will he draft next?
So I have here, this is where Godwin goes. Needs a bit of help in the intermediate, so the linebackers. So I think Godwin's great. Maybe not quite as good as like some of the other linebackers so far, but Godwin has the strength and some of the agility to like what I want to see at middle. And also, he seems to be one of the only draftable middle guys. Like you can maybe move like Barker into middle because you can move Barker anywhere, but like this guy for a pretty like much of 4-3 linebacker, this is as good as you're gonna maybe get this class. Like one of the better people, and I think here at 24, fantastic place for a chance to scoop him up, get a fantastic player who's maybe a bit boring, but he'll get the job done, and I think it'll very much help him on his road to the Super Bowl.
I end up going with the safety Tremaine Stokes
I love Stokes.
out of Boston College. And so the reason I chose Stokes was because he's a 6'2", rangy kind of guy. He's got great jumping, great speed, and I think that just helps. I mean, he could play pretty much anywhere in the secondary. I mean, I really think, if he's a free safety, if he's a strong safety, if he's a sub linebacker, I think he could make an impact on that team.
Mm-hmm. And now we'll fix the air, Alex.
Yes. So I think I'm out of good linebackers and safeties from my board. You guys had one at least pocketed. So I think instead he gives Mullen an actual slot guy in Weldon, right? 6'1", 197, and he's got amazing short running. He can very much do slants,
slant
flags,
boy,
outs, ins. He can catch in traffic. He's just got good hands on top of that. His combine is iffy.
Yeah.
At best. Like that's not how he's gonna get his separation, is by pure physicality. It's just gonna be his ability to gyrate his hips.
I think he'll make
balls.
He'll make corners bite, I think. Like
Oh, absolutely. He'll be great at having them with his hip placement. Like that would be so good to actually give Mullen a actual slot guy.
Yeah. I think that's a good. I like these Jets picks actually. If Jets get any one of those guys, I'm a happy chance. No. Now, okay, this pick. Oh, I've been waiting to make this pick so long. I feel so bad putting this guy so low, and I just couldn't find a place for him, really. I have here going Josh McCoy, and I love McCoy. And I hate that I made him go 25, and I think it's only because of the nature of the position. If you look at that mock, and the position of needs, I feel like from, like, the Bills, and, like, everyone kind of needs tight end, but, like, the thing with tight end, you kick that can down the road. Like, you'll figure it out later. Sometimes it's just another better guy I love McCoy. Like, that 6'6" frame is stupid for a vertical threat. Like, this guy's a pretty pure receiving tight end, and he's huge. He's a monster, and he makes like insane catches. Like, I love him. This is a play league like dream, I think. I love like I hate that I put him at 25. It hurts that I put him at 25 because I like him so much. I even would think of him at 13. Like, he's a fantastic. Like, he's just insane how weird and just Madden doesn't generate these prospects at tight end much. But again, it's the nature of the position. It's a tight end, gets kicked down the road. I feel like that'll happen. He'll get neglected a little. But he'll be great for whoever gets him. I'm excited.
So I've got tight end as well, but I've got since I took the tight end McCoy all the way up at 13 to the Bills. I've got Monroe.
I love Monroe.
I've got Monroe here. And the reason I have Monroe is he is a burner. He is a burner. He's just so much faster than McCoy, and so I think that he's going to be really interesting for this Cardinals offense.
I love Monroe too. Like, Monroe's honestly a lot like McCoy, just a couple inches shorter and faster. Like, they're both so dynamic. I think, like, you don't always find tight ends this interesting and good this high up in Madden, and these guys are going to be fun to watch. And hopefully, I mean, tight end's a boom or bust position in the league. Like, you either have an amazing one or pretty mediocre. So,
yeah,
I'm excited to see these guys become, hopefully, the faces of the Sims.
That'd be fun. I have also Brandon Monroe going here. I feel like that's the one thing Kramer has never had in his career, is a good tight end. And like he has Haynes, he has Hurd, he's got his running back Maloney. And, like, to have Monroe... Go ahead, Tyler.
Like, that offense is stupid with a good tight end. Like, yeah, you have Kramer, who's gonna probably end up... Maybe not hit 99. It'll be close.
He's gonna hit 99.
Yeah.
No,
he'll have... I think he'll do it. But, like, yeah, then you have, like... I mean, Malone... Post Malone, so good. Receivers, he's... 4 good ones. Like, his fourth is good, and they're young. Like, this core.
And his fifth. Look at his fifth in McLeod, who's 23-74.
Stupid.
Like, trade one of these guys. Come on.
Like, yeah, they could make, like, they have some amazing O-line pieces. They could maybe get like one. They probably need one more guy there. But god damn, this offense is about as potent as you get. I love it. So. Sorry, I'm not meaning to take away your thing.
No, you're fine. No, you're totally good. Like,
I hate it. I hate how good this is. I have to stop this, okay? Twice a year, and in the playoffs if I want to make it that far. Stupid hell.
To bank off what James was saying in terms of his speed, like, that's what Kramer wants. Is he wants a tight end to go up the seams. Man has 99 deep accuracy. 97 medium accuracy. You have Brandon Marone, who just runs a streak up the middle. Like, Kramer's gonna get it there. And I honestly, if both tight ends being equal here at this spot, I still think I go Monroe. But I get that you had to get McCoy somewhere. I just think Monroe fits this offense way better.
I think McCoy is just such a like, that 6'6" is so, like, you just don't find it, and I think they're so similar too. Like, I mean, McCoy's like a bit slower, but like both of them are like low, maybe not hot, like mid to low end receiver speed. Like, they're fast.
Yeah.
Like, oh god, no. It's been 2 hours. I can tell because I paused my notifications for 2 hours.
Oh no.
Anyways,
we're almost there.
We are almost there. Anyways, we are so close. We've been flying this last hour. Not too many rambles for good old me. Next up we have no other one. And
Nice.
Ravens, again, I think as we get down here, I've been like glowing about most teams because I think most of these teams they're actually I think all in fun spots. Like almost every one of these teams except like Colts really have interesting rosters. And I think when we're getting this deep, it's hard to find nitpicks. But Ravens have a couple small holes, but one that's like they've been missing, and it might be a luxury, but like they just haven't had that good old running back. Like they're just
Not since Arthur left.
no. So I think here this is gonna be an interesting one.
The regress.
Tim Price is. I don't know if I like Tim Price much. He's a. This is a home run swing. Trying to go for a home run swing here. He's not my favorite running back this class. I'll say that very much. Like, to be fully transparent, I don't like him that much actually. He is like at least right now he's extremely raw, but he was just so explosive in college. He's one of the fast. He is the fastest running back in the class. Maybe not like CJ2K levels fast, but he's pretty fast for a back. He's just a little raw. Like I don't love all of his some of his his juking's good. He carries it decent, but it's just not all there, and he needs a lot of time to work on getting developed. So I think no other one is like, hey, this guy is a Heisman winner. We can hopefully develop him to be that guy that right now so raw, but maybe we can work on him and make him good, make him that next level, to make him better than the other backs this class, and even further. That's the hope. I think it's not a bad gamble for the Ravens. You're in a position of comfort, I think, picking this far back, and it's really a lot of times this Ravens team's just some bad sim luck away from missing the Super Bowl. They're a pretty complete team. So I think getting
they won one.
They did. They did. That is true. But last year,
Yeah.
they just had some bad luck, and the year before, the one before the year they won it, it's just some bad sim luck, but not getting all the pick sixes you'd hope. Anyways,
I like Fastback, but I went with the guy Banks here.
I like
the reason
Banks.
I went Banks is I think Banks is the kind of workhorse you want, especially when you're going to be streaming, 17, 18 games a season. Go with a guy that's going to run the ball and run the ball effectively.
Secret Agent Raquan Banks.
Nice. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna say Tim Price. They do have. I forgot. Allen, I think ran for 1,700 yards in their Super Bowl year, and I think Price is the best chance because that's essentially what that Ravens offense is predicated on. Is just we're gonna run the ball. We're gonna run the ball down your throat.
Yeah.
They have even now they have an almost 1,000-yard rusher in Bibbs, but Bibbs is he's not gonna be there for you in terms of that number one guy. Whereas Price, if you hit on him, and he has that chance to be that superstar. He is the Heisman winner.
Yeah.
Right? With that speed, with that elusiveness, with that ball carrier vision. They can just get
the other
right
reason
back in there.
I looked at the scheme when making this mock, and the biggest reason I picked Price over Banks is simply I think they just prefer the elusive back, and if they prefer,
Even then, I think you take the Heisman.
But I think if they had a power back scheme and was already working with that, I think you take the power back Banks.
Sure.
Banks is not bad at whatsoever. So we'll talk about him in a bit. Other than James. So next up we have the Bears. Zach is back. He is the Bears.
Welcome back.
Honestly, that you even though their quarterback is not even 70 overall, there's a reason that he's not a team need. That quarterback's good. I like him.
Yeah.
Anyways, so for the Bears, still some needs, but honestly, such a solid team for a team that I thought was middle. Like they picked like what was it? It was higher up last time. It was like top 10, I believe, last year. So they made some good strides to be a competitive playoff team this year. Uh, honestly, good. Glad to see that team turning it around from their Super Bowl. Yeah, they won the Super Bowl, right?
Wait, when?
Didn't they
The
win this?
Bears year one? Yeah,
Yeah, with
Bears year one.
Chris. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So I mean, that reload's kind of starting to come into its own, and I think Zach's kind of the one to take the reins and realize it. But here, I think just again bolstering it up, we have the Bama safety, the Tolbert report. Tolbert. I'm gonna call him Tolbert because Mike Tolbert's pretty
Yeah.
cool. He that name's actually pretty clamped down. But yeah, Tolbert is very like he's honestly more of a free safety. I like him at either, but free safety I think is this guy's calling. Talked about it earlier. This guy's a good run stopper, but also not a liability in coverage. For falling this low, great bolster of this already budding Bears team.
I took the left tackle. I think it's left tackle Hutchinson here for the team because the thing with Hutchinson is this is not a good offensive line class, but go ahead and take the guy that you know is going to be a star and let him be on the edge. I mean, you hope that 33 reps plus the broad jumps enough to get you some decent strength. So if you can get that, I think this might not be a bad pick. I just think, I mean, it's not a good position. Any offensive line is not good this draft. But I think that the needs are just so much that you're still going to have them get taken.
Well, absolutely. I think I'm going to go here as well with James. It's going to be Hutchinson. I mean, that was kind of the thing with their offensive line last year, was that Mooney started like I think 7 games, and in those 7 games he got sacked 16 times, which puts them on average for about 40 sacks. Which, if I remember correctly, there was a certain Starkey quarterback that always got killed essentially because his offensive line kept failing him. And I just hope that doesn't happen to Mooney.
Oh, yeah. No. I hope it doesn't happen to Mooney. I think just here it's tough to... O-line's born, especially in this class, it's tough to, convince for me to, at least... I don't know about Zach. Maybe Zach's more reasonable than I am. I feel like it's hard to convince myself to reach for O-line. And I think that's the biggest reason I haven't mocked, any yet. But I guess at some point, especially with these high-level playoff teams, you just have to bite the bullet. And you get star on the guy. And a star O-line, at the end of the day, no matter what overall, is worth it, I think. Especially this late in the first. If they're over, 68, and star, it's workable. Next up, we have the Jaguars. Drew. Another good team. Lots of good teams. I guess they're all good teams. Everyone's a good team. Everyone except Tato. Everyone but Tato has a good team, is my official ruling. Anyways, Jags, another pretty set team again. I think they just need a couple things, and I think here we're going to see the last of the defensive edge rushers that we were maybe we each I feel had our own ones we liked more and a couple we liked less than the others. I think here's where we see those go. And for me personally, I have Nate Franklin. Nate Franklin's again not a bad dude. I think James is right. Could be moved to DT. DT prospect, very much so. And maybe just a run stopper. Whatever works best for you, Drew. I like him, but kind of boring for not much of a rusher, more of a solidifier.
I've got Poindexter here. I know we talked about him earlier,
Hmm.
and he's another one of those transition guys. Kind of guy that can go outside, play inside. But I think that that'd be a amazing, versatile pick for a playoff team. I
Yeah.
mean, just put this guy on the field, let him go in where he's best, and then in a couple of years he'll be good at something like really good.
Yeah, and I have Jarmillo, who again you guys had him as a project, a very raw guy, and I think what better place to take a raw guy than in this essentially the dead end of the draft.
Hmm.
Not much else really needs to be said after what you guys talked about him. Like,
Yeah. No. I think, like I said, this is kind of where the last of the forgotten, or some of the last of the forgotten D line. Like, we all have like guys that have been taken by someone else's mock here, but like
yep.
finally it's like here. All right, Jags, get your D line. Whatever one's available, take it. Just be like, all right, I'll be happy with this. It'll make my team better. Um,
Yep.
so that's not a bad pick. It's a very safe pick,
Well,
but that's what you
you know,
want.
Sip is listening in.
Oh, what he put someone on
Yeah,
the nice.
he put some wide receivers on the trade block.
Next up we have the Patriots. I think Wiley's listening.
He is.
Wonderful.
My friend Starkey and I summoned him.
Yeah, wonderful. Hopefully won't hate this pick because I like this pick. I think it's a good value for this position, and the only reason it's this far down is because the running back doesn't seem to be valued. So anyways, I have him going secret agent Raquan Banks. I love Raquan Banks. This dude doesn't fumble. That's one of the things. I don't know if he had a fumble in college. It would have been early. These strong hands, he does not let it go. And he's just strong north-south runner. Like, he's, like, not at all a bad pick. He's pretty fast and pretty strong. And he'll just hit it the hole. Like, and if actually he's not even the least, like he can juke people, too. Like, for a power back, he has some, like, a little bit of
Got moves.
agility.
Shifty.
Yeah, like, so I think he's a fantastic back, and I think a good value for being a late first here.
So I liked Banks, but the reason I liked Banks more than I liked Price was because I felt like Banks can do it all. I feel like he's kind of like you put the ball in his hands, he'll do whatever you need him to. So that's why I end up going Banks above Price. That's why Price is here for me in this like.
Sure.
And I think Price. I think you don't want to pass up on the speed. You don't want to pass up on the explosiveness. So that's why I have Price going here. But he's a little undersized too, 5'9". Pretty tiny.
I have them going Banks with you, Tyler, because Price is off. I mean, like, how can you replace Beal at this point? Like, that's such a heavy
can't.
shoe to fill, right? And like, I think Banks at least kind of gives the same mold that Beal was,
Yeah.
right? Whereas Price, if you go Price, you're getting a very explosive guy, and maybe that's what that offense needed to get to the Super Bowl because they were a game away from it. Either way, I think a running back to fill Beal's shoes here would do a lot for that team.
Yeah. Next up, we have the Titan. This is the Wayland pick, I believe.
Yes.
So this is originally
future
Rams,
pick, yes.
but a second Titans pick, and here I was fortunate enough to mock tight ends late, so I get a very nice treat for the Titans here, who have been so patient and waited for this tight end to fall for them. And Monroe, we've already talked all about him. Insanely fast. Honestly, a monster tight end. Love both these tight ends so much, and I think really could go much higher. I just feel like positional bias will push him down. Love him though. Great pick if he gets it, and if it falls, I'd be ecstatic for him.
I actually went with the right guard here. So I went with the right guard, Evan Glover. And the reason I went with Evan Glover is because this dude is a mauler in the run game. And I think that I just figured he might as well go ahead and go with the guard here, get the guaranteed star, and then take the L in terms of Glover's not going to be the best player you could pick here, but I think he's going to be a starter for at least a decade.
No, I
think
think
that you can't go wrong here.
I think he almost like I like Hutchinson more of the two, even though I think Glover coming out of the draft might be just a tad bit better. The biggest reason though, like, well, I feel like Glover. I mean, we're not done with my mock, but Glover's not on mine. Spoiler alert. It's just because age. Age is big for I think Hutchinson. And I just like the tackle position a little more than the guard. I think value-wise, it's better to get that tackle than a guard. But that's my 2 cents. But I think Glover's a decent O-line for how barren this O-line is.
I do respect that this guy is a big mauler in the run game, but he's also not a slouch in the run either.
Yep.
For me, and we're kind of going 3 different areas here. I think the Titans address the defensive line, which you, Tyler, had them address up at the first pick, and so did you, James. I think they go Juwan Finch here. He's a bit old, but he does have that good move. He can get through some guys. I'm kind of worried about his bench press, but he's not the weakest I've seen. But he's a secure tackler, and he has a good move. And at 130, there's not much more you can ask for at that point.
I love Yannick Ngakoue.
No, one thing, yeah, he did have a bad All-Star game.
True.
So, but luckily, I think with the system, like with the guaranteed star, he at least maybe takes a little bit of that risk off of him. It's like, hey, even if he is normal, we get at least guaranteed star.
Yep.
So it's a little more ease off of you. You can take that risk. Because I think Juwan Finch, that's some upside. I like him. He might be a one-trick pony. He might be just that pass rusher. But, that might be what this Titans team needs. Now we're on our penultimate pick, the 49ers. What? What's funny?
No, it's the penultimate. That's a fun word.
It is a fun word. And this team needs O-line and quarterback and set. The biggest issue is quarterbacks are not here. And so you either have to reach far for quarterback or reach far for O-line. What do you want to... Well, not as far for O-line, but it's a little bit. So here, I think... I have them going. Yes, I do. I have them going. Who has been taken by the rest of the mocks? I have them going Caleb Hutchinson. I like him the most, like I said earlier, over Glover just because of tackle and age. And also, I think they're fairly comparable. Like, I think they'll be about the same overall coming out. Maybe an edge to Glover there. But I think Hutchinson will easily make that back with the age benefit. I think Caleb Hutchinson's the O-line to go if you're picking him the first. He's good at opening holes for the run. I like that quite a bit. He uses his speed, but no, not the strongest guy in the world, but he's not the worst.
So I was kind of debating what to go here, and I figured these wide receivers, I hadn't mocked them yet, so I just put them on the board. I put Weldon above Childress, and the only reason I did that is because I once saw an NFL team draft Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson, so who knows what can happen, honestly. And so even though Max Weldon in no way, shape, or form signifies he'd be any better than Childress, let's go ahead and just go with him. So he's a slot guy. He's got that good short route, but, little concern with his deep presence.
I do have... Okay. I'm going to take some time here. I'm sorry.
This is fun. This is fun.
This is the fun one. This is the fun pick of the end.
This is the quarterback pick we've been
You
waiting
got
for.
the guaranteed star. All right. Thomas leaves in free agency. They go 14-2. They get crushed. Heartbroken by the Texans after the 49ers are like the best team this whole year, right? They have Reed Devlin as a possible quarterback. They did not even address it in free agency. They had multiple opportunities to. There were plenty of guys. They could have even brought Thomas back. And like they had some cap, right? They could have at least gotten someone. They don't get anyone.
Yeah.
I don't think they go with Reed Devlin here. He's 24, 67 overall star. I think you go Howie Burns, a scrambler, right? He is a scrambler. He can with one of the best arms in this class. And like that ability to throw on the run, like we talk about how they need O-line. Well, Burns is able to at least mask that O-line if he does end up starting year one with his ability to throw on the run and his ability to throw deep down the field on the run, right? He does even come with some good short accuracy. And I think with the receivers that they have, right? Jimmy Dominguez, 99 speed. Spencer, 90 speed. Toon, 92 speed. We saw these guys in action against the Rams, how potent they can be. And if Burns does end up getting decent, deep accuracy with that amazing arm that he has and the ability to make things work when plays go down, he can just find Dominguez, and the 49ers can just get back to the playoffs with ease. I think this does not have to be a big rebuild for them if they hit on a quarterback here.
Absolutely.
And that is my spiel. That is my pitch. That is my pitch to
I think
you.
this is if someone's taking a quarterback, it makes most sense here. Get that guaranteed star.
You get the offensive rookie of the year. You're like guaranteed it.
That's true.
You're guaranteed it, man.
So the other thing before we move on to the last pick, this dude's from Tulane, and for the most part, this top round has had pretty boring colleges, like pretty routine Power 5 schools. Tulane has such a good logo. Look at this green wave, dude. That dude's awesome. I love him. And I saw that. I was like, looked it up because I'm like getting the logo earlier today.
That can't be the current logo. That cannot be the logo.
I don't know. When I googled Tulane logo, that's the number one. Like it's like all throughout the results. I feel like it can't. There has to be a different logo.
It has to be like the 70s.
I don't care. That's so good. That Tulane logo is amazing. I love it. Like, look at that dude. He's just angry.
I know. Wait, it was reintroduced in 2016.
Let's go.
It's the current logo.
I love it.
People are bringing back the throwbacks, man.
I love it.
It's so good. It looks like something out of the 70s.
And finally, the wonderful Brian, who's honestly earned this.
Whose girlfriend is so lucky.
Very lucky.
Very lucky.
But no, it's been a long time coming for Brian, and honestly, so glad to like. If anyone got the back-to-back,
now, like, jeez.
It's good to see Brian winning the back-to-back. It makes me feel good for him. Dude deserves it.
Gives me hope.
Puts in the work. Love him.
He also puts in 80 other league work.
Yeah, he goes hard. He's seen him grow as a GM. Anyways, I have him here going Max Weldon, just another receiver for that team. You know, just makes it that much better. Could go O-line, but I think here you have a room for another receiver. Just take Max Weldon. He's honestly, I think, play him in the slot maybe. I think that would work well. Like, maybe not. I don't know. He's very much a good short route runner, though. You can make him work. And on that team, I think, with that much firepower and just that whole roster, I think Weldon will thrive not having to be the guy, but being able to be, a guy in the background who will get better and develop as he goes on.
Well, I couldn't figure out where to put this guy earlier in my mock, so I kind of just had him as the last pick of the first round. But I've got UCF receiver Andrew Childress, and I mean, we've talked about him before, but the speed, the hands. I mean, it'd be an amazing steal, kind of DeAndre Hopkins-esque for the Texans here in the very end of the first round.
Yeah.
Very famous 5'10" receiver.
Honestly, that would be so broke if Brian got Andrew Childress.
Yeah, that'd be pretty broke.
That'd be not fun.
For me, I'm gonna go Lippett here. We talked again. You guys had him go earlier. I just kind of iffy on his coverage abilities, but I do like his knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I like what he comes into in terms of like just being able to learn the system, learn the scheme, and get his and that being able to transfer into his coverage abilities.
Yep.
A lot better. Brian's gonna do well with developing him as well. Looking at how their corners acted in that Super Bowl, getting 3 picks on Thomas for his last game of the career. Like
Lippett good.
Yes.
Well, let's
2.5 hours, man.
honestly, that's normal. That's really normal for
that is normal, especially for 3 people.
for 3 people. Like
Thank you, James.
we do 2 hours
Yeah, no
on our
problem.
normal 2-person one. So
Yeah.
2.5, especially after the hour top 10. Which, to be fair, it's the top 10. You put a little more time into those picks because they're the most
Yeah.
interesting players, or some of the most interesting players, especially on defense.
sure.
There's no
And the
like.
most interesting teams, like
There's no like easy quarterback where it's like, wow, he's good, take him, bye. Like, they were interesting. We had like a good variety up there, so I'm glad all of y'all stuck around. All the few of you. Shout out to Wiley. Forget who Ravani is in chat.
who is Ravani?
he
He's
al-
new.
But he's
Adam?
all is he? That makes a lot of sense. He's always great to have in chat, in Twitch chat. Love to have him. If he is Adam, that makes a lot of sense.
He's in
either-
KGM, so he's
Yeah.
someone.
It could be Adam. If it is Adam,
Yeah.
that makes sense. But yeah, everyone have a great night. Thanks for staying with us. Good luck on your draft.
Yep.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Thanks for having me.